8 degrees yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Were you that cold?
No, I'm not in the shop anymore. Welcome to Comic Talk. I'm Brandon from The Collectors.
I'm Steve from ActionNerd.com.
And we are back with an exciting episode because we're going to a little bit of Japan for this episode.
Yeah. This is something that I recently discovered. So we'll talk about that in a bit. But listen, I think it was one of the worst weeks for new comic books ever. And I'm not alone. Mike Spider-Slayer at Comic Book 2.0 said the same thing. It's just there wasn't a lot out there that was great. I did read a couple of things. I've only got 3 books that I read.
Oh, wow.
And one of them didn't come out this week, came out last week. So we'll get into the 3x3 because I see you got another stack.
I'm still trying to catch up.
Okay, let's see it.
Let's do it. First up.
Yeah.
Okay. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Saturday Morning Adventures.
Yeah, you've liked that one.
Well, I'm still having fun with this one. This one is awesome, man. And this one, Michelangelo finds a magic ring, kind of like a genie in it. And he's kind of had this falling out with his brothers. So it's that old trope of, let me show you what life's like without you.
What is that? Wonderful Life?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so, these are the turtles right here, as if Michelangelo was never around. They become
and he looks very
turtles.
sad on the cover.
Yeah. Real heart-wrencher there. So check that one out.
All right.
Up next is What If Mickey and Friends turned into the Fantastic Four. Now, this is one of Steve's favorites.
Oh, yeah, my favorite.
So,
Comic of the year.
I thought this was probably the best one out of all the one they've done so far, with Donald being Wolverine and Thor and Minnie being Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel. I think this is the best one, the Fantastic Four one.
So how do they make Mickey's voice sound tiny and squeaky, or do they?
Well, it's a comic, so they don't really...
I mean like little tiny text?
Oh, no. He sounds normal in this one.
All right.
Yeah, he's like, let's go to space, guys.
Well, see, that's not normal.
And then I'm trying to catch up on the all-new Venom.
Yep.
And like you said, I don't think it is any of the prime suspects.
Oh, you agree? Okay.
Yeah, just because they were all in that room. They ruled each other out of being the new Venom, except for the criminal lady. But the way the Venom was acting, he was stopping crimes. And like, is this Madam Mask lady a hero, anti-hero? Or I don't think so. I think she's a pure villain.
Let's talk boobs for a minute.
She does have boobs.
So does that Venom have boobs?
He doesn't.
Right.
And Scream does.
Right. That's what I think too, because I just watched Venom: The Last Dance a few days ago.
Yeah.
And you had the boobs on the female Venom.
That's true. That is true.
And so I eliminate her now after thinking about it. And of course this one kind of points to, and it's been out a couple of weeks, that the elimination of Luke Cage because the bullet.
Yep.
So
right through his head.
Who could it be? Who could it be now?
I'm thinking somebody small. I'm thinking it might be one of Dylan's friends.
Oh.
Because they did shoot Venom in this one, and it went straight through his head. His head just like it was no
like
human
Terminator.
in there. Yeah, there was no human in there. So it might be somebody small who's just concentrated in the torso part, controlling the Venom. And I
don't know. Maybe. We'll find out.
We will
see.
Up next is this whole run of what ifs.
Yeah.
And they're focusing on Galactus changing different heroes that he's never changed before. And this one is Gambit. And Gambit uses the power to kind of benefit himself first, but him and Galactus come to a term that Galactus wants something from the Collector, and Gambit's a thief, so he's got to go in there and get it. And I thought it was pretty good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was a different spin on it. And then afterwards, he gets to keep the cosmic power.
It's a one-shot, though.
Yeah,
all what ifs.
One and done.
Okay.
Black Panther, Ultimate Black Panther, number 12.
Ooh.
This one, it's finally coming down to Black Panther versus Moon Knight.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And Black Panther knows himself. He's like, I can beat this dude. I can beat him. But it's a match to the death. And does Black Panther want to kill this guy? That is the question. And then something happens at the end, right before he's has to make that decision. You decide what's he going to do, and something happens. So check that out.
Ghostbusters. They
Ghostbusters.
come in.
No.
Oh,
not
no,
them.
that's like what you gonna do.
Rick and Morty, the New Year, New Rick special.
Okay.
This is pretty funny. I love
Is
the Rick
it?
and Morty.
Yeah, you do.
Rick decides this year he's going to be nice Rick. He's taking out all the meanness, the jerk Rick that he normally is, the know-it-all, and he's going to try to help his family. Well, there's some consequences to that.
Oh,
So check
for
it
being
out.
nice.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah, the writers are so good.
Rick
with
and
that.
Morty. I finally caught up with Wolverine.
Okay, good.
You were talking about
Yep.
this and the Wendigo.
Yeah.
And it seems like in certain situations, the Wendigo is being able to control his
Yeah.
ability to eat humans and stuff.
Wouldn't it be cool if that actually happens and he becomes? I mean, if Juggernaut can join the X-Men, a Wendigo can become a hero too, and maybe a partner up with Wolverine.
Well, that's what I said with the right situations, because they had to leave him on the ship whenever Wolverine's out there cutting all these people up. And then that's when he met it wasn't Cyber, it was Slither Snake Man with the things. Wendigo took a bite out of his neck.
Yep.
And he just didn't even flinch. He was like, don't do that.
Yeah, I think they're doing a good run with this.
It is. There's some kind of adamantium monster god or something coming out. Don't know what's going on, but we'll see it. The Uncanny X-Men number 8.
Okay.
They're still in Gray Malkin.
Yeah.
They're combating each other. The Uncanny is fighting the regular X-Men. Rogue and her team's fighting Cyclops and their team, but they're trying to come to an agreement. And then they unleash the one we were talking about, that other telepathic mutant.
Oh.
And him and Xavier fight it out.
I always want to say Philip. Is it Phil? It's not.
It might be Philip.
Maybe it's okay. It's Phil.
Philip. Well, old Phil gets knocked out, so Xavier wins. And after he does get knocked out, he was manipulating their anger and making them angry at each other.
Yeah.
So once that died down, they kind of just went their separate ways. Yeah. But the lady who's in charge, she was like, we're at a stalemate. Don't think y'all have won, because if I wanted to, she's got like this satellite laser that could destroy their homes. And so everybody just decides to go separate ways for now, but she's got a plan to get back at them later.
I hope this, like, that's kind of going off on an ending of one part and then go to the next. I want to see some traditional X-Men adventures in this.
Okay. You want a monster
I
of the
want,
week?
I want something to happen and then they go get it.
You want them to stop a bank robber.
Yes. Or shoplifting at Target. Damn it.
Up next is Christmas 365.
Merry Christmas.
That's right. And I told you about the first one. He had this issue with his dad around Christmas time, but he loves it. Christmas is the most amazing time in the world for him. So he decides every day is going to be like Christmas.
Oh, that's awesome.
That was the last one. This one, we're seeing the results of that. And it isn't that every day is Christmas. It's every day is kind of a Christmas theme of what it already is. So he's celebrating other holidays like Easter, Memorial Day, 4th of July, but he's putting a Christmas spin on it.
Oh, that's
yes.
beautiful.
And then it's starting to get too expensive for him. So they're trying to figure out like what they're going to do for money. They can't celebrate like this anymore. Well, the daughter's like, well, I've been posting all these videos of us doing this and you're getting amazing views. We can start to monetize this, make money.
Oh.
And we can start selling tickets for people to come enjoy it with us. And so they start doing that. But
what we do with this studio audience that we have now.
Yes. They're being very quiet.
Right.
Thank you. But he's getting hurt doing this. Like every holiday, he's going to the doctor because some decoration has stabbed him, crushed him, or something's happened. He's been burned. But yeah, it's pretty funny. And then on this one, he's an engineer, so he's starting to build more elaborate stuff now that they're getting more money in.
Yeah.
But his daughter had taken one of his blueprints over to her boyfriend's house, and the father is like an old co-worker of this guy here, our dad.
Yeah.
And he starts taking pictures of the blueprints.
Uh-oh.
So and at the end, it's like a cliffhanger. It's like things are going to get really interesting.
Is this going to end, or is this like an ongoing thing?
This
You're
is
on number 2.
Christmas 365, so it's going to be
the whole time, whole year?
Whole year round.
Wow.
365
Merry
issues.
Christmas. That's great.
I don't know. It might be.
Yeah.
And then we got Magic, number 1. I thought this was pretty good. I don't really like Magic.
Me neither.
But yeah, this one was pretty good. Some of her inner demons and how it's almost come out. It's kind of anime stylish, actually. Having inner demon poke out and like defend her because if she dies, they both die. So I think that's the situation anyway. But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. I'm ready to see issue number 2.
I am too.
And then there's X-Force, number 7.
Okay.
I am not caught up with the whole Krakoa storyline. I've only just recently dived in with the Uncanny X-Men, Exceptional, and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't know that a part of the X-Force was the Phoenix's daughter.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah,
either.
Jean Grey's daughter's in here.
Okay.
And I guess she used to have the Phoenix Force, but now she doesn't. And so now she has this energy buildup that she has to transfer between her psychic partner here. And it becomes an issue in this one.
Yeah.
So
That's the constipation issue.
yeah, that is it. And it's all backed up. And they should have just let Force know, because he can make things to help people out. That's what he does.
Yeah, plunger.
But yeah, that's
okay.
my.
Listen, I only have 3 things on this. One was, those books like Lady Death,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess they started off as a sexy book, which I don't get it. I mean,
who is the publisher of those?
God, is it? I want to say Dark Horse, but I may be completely wrong. I don't remember, because I remember they did have Lady Death action figures, Purgatory action figures, big busty girls in little skimpy outfits, and they fight whatever. So looking through, I found this one new called Altered States Purgatory Grindhouse.
Wow.
And with a title like that, can you go wrong? Yes, it's stupid. It's basically a bunch of pages of a girl fight, and one of them turns into the red Purgatory figure.
Ooh.
And that's the end.
Nice read.
That's it. Yeah, if you love that kind of book, awesome. I don't find any, I don't get my.
There's no story there.
Yeah, I don't get. I mean, if you like the art, cool. The art was not in the typical art that those books are done in. It's a very simple art, I would say. And the story was just, I don't know if it's an origin story or what. I don't know enough about that character to tell you. So there's that one. Next one was, I went back and I read Cruel Kingdom #1.
Oh, man.
Which is that EC stuff.
That was a part of mine I was supposed to bring today.
And we'll both talk about it, because I said dumb stories that ends badly, of course.
What?
Yeah.
I loved every one of them.
Did you really? So, like, the first one, it just kept repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating. Then
with the robots.
Yeah. Which was the best one of them.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Which we're going to talk about robots in a minute, too. Hypocritical. And then the other 3 were not even memorable. They're still following that ta-da at the end, or stab at the end.
Twist.
Which is that's the formula. So I'm not knocking that. I just think that there's not a surprise. Like, you could read the first page and know what's going to happen at the end. Like, it says, oh, here's the protagonist, there's the good guy, bad guy, or the situation. Oh, I bet you they're going to die at the end. Sure enough, they do.
I want to talk about this.
Okay, let's go. What do you think?
That first story. Okay, so we got these, what are they, like pilgrims or something, like just regular peasants and home people, and they're real religious, so they don't want to kill nobody.
Right.
But they want to defend themselves. So they decide, hey, we're just going to have to surrender, and we'll just deal with the consequences. And the one guy's like, but they'll kill us all.
Right.
And so it's like, nah, we got a plan to keep our hands clean. And so they build this robot, this knight, this king, this robot king, and they call him the king. And he says, you gotta protect your people, king. So the robot, when the attackers come, the robot just decimates them. Yes. Yeah. And he comes back. Well, they stab the robot and they kill it. And they're like, oh, no, you killed. He's like, nah, he's just a machine. It don't count.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they reawaken him like 30, 20 years later or something like that. Yeah,
keep skipping times.
Yeah, and they have him do it again, and then they'll stab him again at the end. I don't know why they just put an off switch on him.
Right.
But they stab him again.
See the dumb part?
And then 20 years later, they do it again. But this time, there's nobody attacking. They're just trying to, like, preemptively strike, and they're going to attack, like, people who they trade with.
Yeah.
And so they get there with their robot, and they say, tell your king to surrender. But they've got a robot of their own. They finally learned.
Yeah. Yep.
So they bring out their king. And the robot, I guess he has the same thinking as the humans do. If you kill one of your kind, your hands aren't clean.
Right.
But if you kill another species, it's fine. So the robots decide they're not going to kill each other, but they kill the 2 main guys.
Right.
The two main guys that are causing all this. And yeah, everybody's safe.
At the end.
Everybody's safe. They're short stories.
Yeah,
I thought it was good.
That one was the best of the four. I just think, and maybe you bring up a good point, because it is a short story, you got to cram everything in maybe what, 5-6 pages.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think they just need to elaborate or go longer, or make a thicker book, or reduce it to 2 stories per book. It's not that same thing, and I talked about it before as that haunt of fear that I have over there. Those stories, the text amount on a page is probably 5 pages of what a modern comic book is. So it had the ability to tell that story much more in depth than what we're getting out of these new EC comics. My opinion on that, of course, but it's so quick on these new ones that
story
it's
2.
just tough. What was story 2?
The old lady and like the Lord of the Rings Hobbit little dude. And the science people come down and she said science doesn't mix with magic.
That's this crystal ball one.
Yeah. So if one's there, you can't have another one. Well, they plan on like caging these people in this scientific dome protection shield.
Yeah.
And pretty much taking away all their magic. Not in like a mean way. They think they're protecting them.
That's right.
But it's something that is not needed. You know, they're happy with the way they live with their magic.
Yeah, and they're not even bothering anybody.
Yeah, so the space guys come down, they tell them what they're going to do, and they're like, we'll be back with the new shield and all this stuff like that. We'll be back. So they leave, and she somehow like captures them in like this endless loop, maybe.
Yeah.
They're just traveling through space. Yeah, in their spaceship. And she has like so many at the end. She's like, this
she's got a room full of these balls that she's captured other ships. Again, it's just too short for me. I mean, it was just like, okay.
What about Snow White? That was the last story.
I didn't care for it. I don't know.
Killer Dwarf,
What did I write? Stupid. No, I'm sorry. I wrote ends badly, of course.
It did end badly because he murdered the prince. And they really loved him.
Yeah, I don't know. I need more. Some of these at first hit, and like the Creep House or Creep Show, some of those were much better quality stories than these. I just think that they're leaping at things with this Cruel Kingdom and all these other things. It was a neat thing. I mean, I've got Epitaphs of the Abyss slabs up there, but if you go back and you look at these old EC titles, there's a world of difference. God bless him for bringing that style back, but there's a world of difference in the quality of the story. So finally, I read Time Waits, and I've been waiting for this one. This is from Distillery. This is the one about the guy that is with a group, travels back in time to do things for the good of a company or a corporation. And he says, screw it, and stays. The other group has to come back and hunt him. They finally do capture him. This is the end of it. This is Time Waits number 3. And it's a good ending. I don't want to spoil it for those that have read it because it just came out today. But what a great story, and good writing and fantastic graphics, as Distillery is known for. The only drawback is it's in the magazine format, so it's hard to get unless you buy specialized bags and that sort of thing. But this is something that I look at that could be an option movie in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah.
So read this one. I loved it. It's the end of it. It has a great ending, and so check that out. So that's all I've got for 3x3.
It was pretty good.
Okay. Let's do Dare Ya Trivia.
Oh.
And here are the 10 questions for Dare Ya Trivia. And I wanted to make a very special day for you with this one.
Okay.
This is trivia about Sam and Twitch.
Wow.
So you being the Sam and Twitch expert, I thought this would be a piece of cake.
No. I've only read their recent thing.
Perfect. Here we go. Question number 1 is, in which comic book series did Sam and Twitch first appear?
Spawn.
Bingo. Got it. Question 2. What city do Sam and Twitch work as detectives in?
New York.
That is correct.
Oh, my God.
Who created the Sam and Twitch spin-off series?
McFarlane?
That is correct.
Oh, yes.
What is the full name of Sam, one half of the duo?
Sam Witwicky.
Wrong. Sam Burke.
Sam Burke.
What medical condition does Twitch have that affects his physical appearance?
Tourette's.
No, have you seen that Bailey Tourette's show that's coming on?
No. I just figured I
Go
call him
look at
Twitch,
that.
so he's like, got a tick.
People say it's fake, but I don't. No, it's thin and wiry. Often portrayed with poor posture, but there's no specific medical condition tied to his appearance. It's just part of the character design. So why did they put it as medical question? Tell me. Okay. Which acclaimed comic artist wrote the first issue of Sam and Twitch series?
McFarlane.
Wrong. Brian Michael Bendis. Okay. Number 7. What notable personality differences define Sam and Twitch as a team?
They're always together.
Not in that kind of way. Sam is gruff, fat, and a hothead.
And Twitch is the
And Twitch is intellectually composed and precise. It's kind of like you and I.
Just wish.
All right, maybe we should name this Sam and Twitch. Okay. Question number 8. What supernatural element often ties Sam and Twitch cases to Spawn? Oh, I didn't know there was that.
Necroplasm.
Many of their cases involve demons, hellspawn, and other supernatural phenomena linked to Spawn's universe.
They use necroplasm sometimes.
Yeah, I guess we'll give you half a point. Number 9, what was the subtitle of the Sam and Twitch comic series when it was rebranded in 2003?
Case Files.
The Writer. Sam and Twitch, The Writer.
Case Files is the newest.
Final question. Number 10, what item does Twitch often carry that is unusual for a detective?
Pencil?
Twitch is known for his expert marksmanship and often carries a revolver, which he uses with uncanny accuracy.
Yeah, I thought something like
I thought lots of detectives carry revolvers.
In every movie they do at least, especially in the 80s.
Yeah, or in the 20s.
Yeah, that too.
What year is Sam and Twitch set in?
I think it's
Is it
present.
modern?
Yeah, I thought so.
They wear trench coats, right?
Sometimes.
They have panties on under that?
I don't think so.
Okay, that's why you don't want to look at Sam and Twitch. Let's see. All right.
Wow.
That's Dare You Trivia. Wow. So I got to bring up this couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
One thing is they started construction on the store.
Whoa!
So that we're very happy. It's Action Nerds Fun Spot on the Lebanon Square, 101 Public Square is the address. The old Markham Shoe Store. So we're getting excited about that. Yeah, these are cool. And it's got the link tree thing. Yeah, it probably will work too.
Yeah, scan this. Use your phone that you're watching this on to scan this.
Yeah, hold it. Yeah, ready? So that's cool. And then we had a guy on his YouTube channel, which I'll put right up here, talk about us on updates for Lebanon, which is very cool. Ooh. And one of the things that he talked to me about was one of the things that you're going to do at this store that's different. And I said, Rock'em Sock'em Robot.
That's right.
Tournament. Mm-hmm. So it's cool. I bought this. I don't know. Rock'em Sock'em Robot started in 1966 with a Marx company. It's an interesting story. They were making this boxing game because based on an old arcade game, which was made of metal. Same principle. You have the two things, and you just punch, and the guys knock his block off. So right before they released it, they had a huge boxing match, real life boxing match, and it killed the guy.
Oh.
And so they said, we can't do this. Forget it. Well, think about it. This guy is an engineer, designed the mechanics of pushing the buttons, the things popping, all of it. And it was modeled with people. And the guy dies. They said, we can't do anything with that. And he said, hold on. I'll make him a robot.
There you go.
And they did. And that's how in 1966, Rock'em Sock'em Robots will do. So I've got the original one coming in the box, which will be at the store. And we'll have Rock'em Sock'em Robot tournaments, bracket tournaments, and we'll let you know when that happens. And you come in and you'll win something cool. But there's been many different things, and I just picked this up. Look at this.
Different version. I've got a Batman versus Superman Rock'em
Yeah,
Sock'em.
and it's horrible.
Oh, wow.
It's like the punching is just really bad. It just knocks them off their stand, not the whole knock them off. But that was kind of interesting. But that's some of the stuff that's going to happen there on our store, along with Magic and trading card games. So we're getting lots of emails about, will you do Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, Flesh and Blood, Lorcana, and it's very expensive, as you told me. It's very expensive to maintain an inventory on that. But if it's supported by the community, and like you did, somebody says, hey, I want to order this, no problem, we'll do that. And of course, there'll be mobile displays in our store to move things around to do gaming and stuff like that on designated evenings. So if you want to get involved in that and want to be a judge, I had somebody reach out to me and said, hey, I'm a judge for FBA, or FAB, Flesh and Blood. I got to learn all these new acronyms. And yeah, no problem. We'll do that. And then I went down this rabbit hole on watching stuff. And I started to get into anime on Netflix.
Wow.
And what came up in my suggested was Castlevania Nocturne, Nocturne. Okay. Came out in January 2025. I knew what Castlevania is, right? NES, I bought it. I bought it off the shelf, Castlevania, a little whip, and great side scroller. So I watched this thing, 2 seasons. I binged in 2 days, and it was phenomenal. Wow. Really phenomenal. Very, very the Japanese style graphics, but it was every name that's in the main credits and title is an American name or English name.
I think it was an English anime.
Yeah. So it's is that what it's English? Yeah. Really, really well done. Really enjoyed it. And so I went down the rabbit hole checking out what this is. So I read reviews on it. It says it's the worst Castlevania anime there is. And I loved it. And I thought, well, wait a second. And people are just dragging this out saying how horrible it was and bad story and no action and boring as hell. And I'm sitting there thinking, this is the greatest cartoon I've ever seen in a long time. So they said, no, start with the first Castlevania, for, I believe 2014.
That's the one I watched.
Did you?
Yeah.
So I started season 1, which is only 4 episodes. Kind of sets you up with it. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I like it. So I went down another place. Sakamoto Days. You know what that is?
I have never heard of Sakamoto
So
Days.
Sakamoto Days now I have all anime in my Netflix feed.
Oh man.
Sakamoto Days is about a hitman. I think I talked about this.
You did last week. Like a fat hitman.
Yeah, comes big fat guy, and it's a neat story too. So
I'll put that on my list.
Yeah, is there any recommendations you have
for
your Dragon Ball Z episode of Real Reels?
Oh my God, it blew up.
It blew up.
I don't know why though. It's been on there for like a month, and then finally just hit. I guess.
So I've been looking at anime and What do you say? How do you say that?
Manga.
I don't know why I can't say it. I feel like I'm Trump when I say that. Manga. Listen, that stuff's outselling comics like crazy. Even when I've talked to people in comic book stores, the stuff is going nuts. You go to, what's that? Books A Million over Mount Juliet. And they've got aisles of that stuff.
Yes.
And there's always folks in there doing it. So maybe that's why you're Dragon Ball. That's one of the old school ones, isn't it?
Yeah, that is.
It's crazy. How did the Pops sell that?
Yeah, Pops were gone of my anime. My anime's Pops always move very well.
Yeah.
It just depends on what anime and if it was hot. If it was on a break, because now they used to do in anime, they wouldn't take breaks. They would just create filler episodes until the manga caught up. Until the manga caught up with the show, and then they would just continue and go. But now they're doing seasons, so they'll do a season of My Hero, then stop for a while.
Yeah,
people lose interest, forget about it. Then it'll come back and like, oh, I gotta watch the last season to remember what happened.
Yeah.
So you gotta, I don't know. So
maybe it's a strategy.
Yeah, I think that's one of
Yeah.
the things why One Piece is so popular. There's no breaks. They just put
Boom, boom, boom.
fillers in
That's
there.
another
and
game
you keep
people asked
going.
about on the card game. Did you ever carry One Piece?
I did at one time. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's hard because as you and I had talked months ago, um, how could you put in card games at that shop? It's not easy because if they're bringing their own stuff and they're not buying anything, you're basically have a
Just have a
table
space.
for them
Yeah.
and sell Mountain Dew and Snickers bars.
Yep.
But a lot of the people that I've talked to that are hosting these large tournaments, Jacob in Irvine, Texas at Sanctuary, said no, they run these tournaments where you draft in and you get a thing and that's what you're stuck with playing. And that makes it a lot more fun. So I'm excited to learn about that. I really think you should do an anime podcast section on your Real Reels because that Dragon Ball Z exploded on your channel. Absolutely.
It did.
Check out that on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music.
Yeah.
The podcast Real Reels is it's trending with
That's
a bullet.
right.
It's firing up.
It's going up.
That's good stuff. So those are the two things I watched. What did you watch? Anything?
I did. I finished Ghost Slayer Ayashi.
Okay.
That I told you last week. It was okay.
All right.
I always rate my little animes. I gave it a 3 out of 5. The story wasn't really there. The animation was fine.
Yeah.
The conflict was kind of and no, I would not want to live in this world. It seemed terrible.
Oh, wow.
But I finished that, and I also picked up Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon?
That's a book?
That is a title of an anime. It's a manga, yeah.
But it's a series now?
It is a series, and it is about one young kid whose level is very low. He gets caught in a dungeon where one of these monsters is on a level he's not supposed to be, and he's almost going to kill this kid, but he ends up getting saved by this young knight woman, and he like falls in love with her.
Wow.
So his goal now is to level up and get stronger. And he has a special perk. Everybody has like special abilities in this thing. And his perk is he can get experience points faster. He grows faster than everybody else.
Okay.
And so he's getting stronger, faster, and better. And they got these little things called goddesses and gods in there. And I guess they're people that can grant other people abilities.
Okay.
So it's pretty interesting. There's a lot to it, but it's pretty simple
on?
when you watch that.
Netflix?
I don't know. Listen, I'm a little bit of a pirate, so
I
get some of these things for get some of these things for
Don't
free.
forget a VPN.
Yeah, that's true. ExpressVPN is brought to you by
or Bitfinger VPN.
Yeah, but yeah, I watched that. It was pretty good. I just finished
You should dress like a pirate next week.
How Not to Summon a Demon Lord. That's another anime. That one's kind of fan servicey, and that means they show a lot of boobs and butts and upskirt shots.
I'm so sorry. I don't get that.
There are a lot of horny Japanese men out there.
I guess.
So that one is kind of fan servicey. I mean, if you like the whole like death in one world, and I think it's called Aishi comics, but you're born in another one, and then you just like live in that world from now on.
With boobs.
Yeah. So it was okay.
You ever see those Japanese game shows?
Yes.
That are way, way off the wall. I remember watching one. But this is going way different than what I expected. Watching one where they made these guys drink a ton of water, and they're in their little white tidy whities, and then they put them in an ice bath.
Oh.
And they did different things around them that like sounds of water dripping, and the first one that peed was out.
Oh, dang.
I mean, I've seen the ones where they go up a thing and it's slippery, and but they do some crazy stuff. I don't know that you can find all of that on YouTube because some of it's probably not allowed. But
I used to love MXC.
I remember
Most
that
Extreme Challenge.
Yeah, that was so great with the new announcers. Yeah, that was good stuff. That was very popular. What, God, 20 years ago at least?
Man, yes, that was awesome.
Yeah, that was some good stuff.
But I also watched Wolfman.
Okay, tell me.
And we got a short review on that on We Real Reels.
Yeah, what do you think?
Oh, man.
It bombed.
Yeah, it just didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. And like, I do like surprises. And just because I thought it was going to go somewhere doesn't make it bad. It's just, I don't know. It had so much potential to be awesome, and it just wasn't. Yeah.
So there's this big push for Universal Monsters, these comeback things. And I mean, you can't this monster trend is insane. Thank God Mark Spears did what he did when he did, because Mark Spears' monster comics have absolutely exploded, and they're in second, third prints on stuff.
Oh man,
he's just killing it, and
Yes.
they're going for big bucks. I have about 30 of them signed and not signed at CBCS right now, getting slabbed, and thank goodness I did. But listen, anything the Universal Monsters is hot. Home Depot came out with that Frankenstein, licensed by Universal Monsters. Hopefully they'll have a trend like next year. Maybe it's Dracula or whatever. It's big. Well, what's leading all to this is Epic Universe Dark Kingdom. And this is at the Universal Studios, and it's all around the Universal Monsters. It's a whole amusement section of the park.
In Orlando?
Called Dark Kingdom.
Oh, wow.
So look that up, because it's got your classic monsters, Wolfman, Frankenstein's monster, Dracula, blah, blah, blah. And the aerial shots that the drones are going over and seeing are just insane. This is going to be great. So I might go to an amusement park just to go see it, because I swore off amusement parks after Disney World for 3 days.
Take me with you.
I'll take you with you. We can go review it there. But yeah, this looks fun. So monsters. That's what's happening.
That's all right.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. I'm really happy. What else is going on? Anything else?
Speaking of theme parks, they are about to open up the Nintendo one.
I saw the drone shots of that. Yeah. It looked like the video game for the drone. Amazing. Yeah. Where's that park being opened?
I think that was in Orlando too. Universal's about to make some money.
They're gonna kill it.
Yeah.
I think with all the hits that Disney has taken over bad decisions, and I don't know if Snow White's even coming out, speaking of bad decisions, but people are looking for an alternative. And yeah, this Universal's, I've never done the Harry Potter thing. I heard that's an amazing thing.
It is.
But I've never even read the books or seen the movies. All my kids have, and say I'm dumb not to do it. But yeah, that's supposed to be absolutely amazing. So, as this Universal builds, that's awesome. Now we're getting on amusement talk bar. There's a Hot Wheels track built by, I believe, by Cardinal Stadium in Phoenix, in Glendale. That looks cool. I mean, it's a whole thing. There's the Warner Brothers section of an amusement park that's being built out. So, and that's DC characters.
Oh. So
there's a lot of things happening.
I'm ready.
But people are talking about the decline of local comic book stores. Last week, there was quite a few different articles and YouTube channels discussing the impact that Diamond has, the impact of digital comics on a local comic book store, the lack of support for these local comic book stores. And we certainly, I don't have to tell you, you're not going to be rich being a comic store.
Yeah, for sure.
It's really about serving that community and enjoying yourself, right?
You'll be happy. You won't be rich.
Yeah, but as you were, just to meet the people, have a place for people to come hang out, talk nerdy stuff. That's what we're doing. You and I are the same on that. That's why it's happening. It's not, you can't make a living at it unless you have a giant shop and it doesn't snow and rain in it.
That's true.
And the right place to go. And but there's a lot of comic book stores just not making it. I mean, there's stuff in Murfreesboro that was, a couple of years ago they were open, and now they're online only. So it's tough. So support your local shops. We have a few here in Middle Tennessee. We hope to have ours open in between March and May. We'll see what happens. I'm going to go down there and check it out at lunch and see what the construction was. I went in it yesterday, and you know how the building has those old windows at the front. Think of a very old town. The building's from 1888, and there's old windows that lead you into the doorway. Under those old windows were cubbies, because it was built up for the display. And I went in there, and somebody had gone in there, construction team, and pulled out stuff. And there was old board game type stuff from like the 20s.
Oh, wow.
There was figures in there. And it was like a time capsule.
Wow.
So yeah, it'd be neat if somebody does something with that stuff. That's not mine, so I'm certainly not taking it. But there's some neat stuff there. So we'll see what happens. But other than that, anything else?
I think that's
You didn't
it.
crack open your Orange Crush.
Yeah,
We're sponsored by Orange Crush today.
Oh, that right there. There you go. It's delicious.
It is. It is. Well, that's it for us here at Comic Talk and Amusement Park Talk and Anime Talk and Toy Talk. What else did we talk about?
Everything.
About it. Yeah, a little everything.
Just call it Talk.
Yeah. So thanks, everybody, and don't forget.
Keep on collecting.
See you now.